If you're looking for a bump in performance and efficiency for your 2014 through 2018 5.3-liter Silverado 1500, this Corsa Performance closed box cold air intake with the PowerCore dry filter is a mod that you'll want to consider. Now, this cold air intake is a great choice for the Silverado owner who not only wants freer flowing air compared to the restricted factory system to improve their truck's drivability and performance, but also wants some of the cleanest airflow that you can get thanks to this filter here. Now, this is particularly good for dustier areas, harsher conditions, and simply if you're using your truck all the time, especially for work, and feel like you're replacing your factory filter more often than you should. Now, this intake from Corsa is a no maintenance system with a surprisingly long filter rating, so if you want a performance intake that you can easily set and basically forget, this system has that for you. Now, this will have a couple of key features that sets this apart from the rest of the category. First and foremost, the PowerCore dry filter. Now, this filter is not like the average one that you'll see in the category. It's not cleanable or reusable, but it does have roughly a 150,000 mile lifespan or maintenance interval, which is multiple times an oiled or reusable dry filter, and you can see that within the construction, which we'll talk about in just a second. Now, dry filters are also great for those micro contaminants and have a high filtration rate, but because of the tight packing it has, this does have a higher filtration efficiency than an average filter. It also has a straight-through style intake tube for unobstructed airflow, and more of it considering that the tubing size is a little bump for that performance increase. Now, the intake also features an airbox style design for additional protection against any water sneaking into the engine bay or hot engine bay air, and comes with a clear sight window on the top to keep an eye on the filter while simultaneously adding a sportier look to the inside of the engine bay, especially with the stainless hardware and detailing as well as this Corsa branding. Now, the housing and the tubing here are made of a cross-linked polyethylene material, durable against hot engine bay temperatures and rigid enough to stay in place, but it doesn't hold heat at all, keeping the air inside of the tubing and the housing cool for better efficiency. Now, again, the filter included will be a dry filter made of a packed media that doesn't require any maintenance over time thanks to the construction, but it's always a good idea to keep an eye on this, which is great when it comes to the sight window up at the top. It allows you to do that. Now, this kit also comes with a silicone coupler, which is heat resistant for a crack-free design, and stainless steel band clamps for a rust-free design as well. Now, it also comes with all the other hardware needed for a direct bolting construction with no tune required, and we'll show you how to bolt this up in just a minute. Now, this is about $500 and is one of the more premium choices in the category for cold air intake, and that comes with the benefits of this system and what it brings to the table compared to some other entry-level and even mid-level choices. Not only does this have a very protective construction with the closed airbox design, but it does have a dry filter that will last almost 4 times the average filter that you have. Now, maintenance and protection are 2 of your biggest priorities when it comes to choosing an intake for your truck. You want one that you don't have to maintenance or clean all the time, and you want an airbox that is going to keep that air in the inside cold as well as protect it from any outside elements. Then this is a great option to consider. Install here is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, being fairly straightforward and should only take about an hour or so to get this bolted up to the truck. Now, at this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers here. They're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can install this on your truck at home. So that wraps it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you need a 3/8 ratchet, 3/8 extension, T15, 8 and 10 millimeter socket, 19 millimeter wrench, pair of scissors, and a Phillips head screwdriver. All right, today we're going to be installing an intake on our Silverado. First, we'll watch a quick video how to uninstall a stock one, and then we'll come back here to install the new one.
Okay, once you have your tools out, you'll need to grab that 8mm socket. We're going to loosen up the band clamp securing the factory intake tube to our air box. We can pull them out separately, but I like to do electrical connections first just so they don't get caught up in anything. So go ahead and disconnect the MAP sensor by pulling up on that red tab, and then all you got to do is press on the locking tab underneath in order to unseat it. Go ahead and tuck this out of the way somewhere where it's not going to get hung up on anything. And once you've done that, you can grab your 8mm socket. I like to use an extension for clearance. Go ahead and move these coolant lines to the side and loosen up this clamp here. All right, next we're almost ready to remove the factory intake tube in this big old resonator box, but we have to disconnect our breather hoses for our crankcase ventilation. You got one hose on either head securing to the end of the box right here. You can see this little gray tab. That's the locking tab, so you got to push up on it from the bottom. And as you're pushing up, just pull it to slide off, and then we're actually going to be replacing these breather hoses so you can actually pull it off of the head. It's the same connection down here. Just squeeze it in order to separate it. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side here. For the passenger side, the locking tabs are kind of reversed, so you actually have to push down on it instead of pulling up. And then go ahead and pop it off the head as well. Okay, now we can finally disconnect the throttle body clamp here. Again, 8mm socket, go ahead and loosen him up. Once you've loosened that clamp up, you can gently pull on the factory air box here, / tube assembly, in order to unseat it from the throttle body. All right, once you have the factory air tube and resonator box removed, you can also remove the factory air box. Just make sure you pull these coolant lines away from it. Gently pull it up to remove it. It might be held in place with some rubber grommets on the bottom. Oh, and we also have a Christmas tree fitting here, plastic fitting for our MAF sensor. Make sure you pop that out of there as well. But like I was saying, once I get this out of here, you have some fittings on the bottom here. These are pressed into this plate at the bottom. You just kind of have to gently apply some pressure to pop them out of there. Okay, we have to do a little bit more work here in the engine bay before we start installing our new intake. Our new heat shield is going to interfere with this little support brace, so we're going to loosen that up and swing it out of the way. You got to remove this 10mm bolt on the inside of the fender here. Once you remove that bolt, this brace might have a little bit of tension to it because of the other bolt securing it, but you should be able to just kind of push on this in order to get it out of the way. Once you've done that, we're going to be removing our mounting tray as well, because our new heat shield is going to take up that spot. You're going to be using the same 10mm socket to remove these 4 bolts down here, securing it. Okay, now we're going to remove our mounting tray here. It's held in place with 4 10mm bolts. Go ahead and pop all those out. It's helpful to have an extension. We are going to be reusing some of these bolts, so make sure you don't discard them.
So before we can install our new intake, we just need to do a couple things to get our new intake ready. We need to swap over our mass airflow sensor, put a couple seals on, and attach our hoses to our fittings. But first, we're going to take our factory mass airflow sensor out. Now you're going to grab a ratchet with a T15 socket, take the 2 screws out. Ours are a little mixed up. There's one Phillips head screw in there, so we're just going to grab a Phillips head screwdriver also. We'll get this out and in our new tube. We'll take our 2 screws out here. Pop this out, set our factory air box aside. All right, so we're gonna grab our mass airflow sensor and grab our supplied gasket. Now this does only go in one way. Let's just slide it in like so. Then grab our supplied Phillips head screws and thread those in. Grab our Phillips head screwdriver, tighten those down. Now also to get our tube ready, you'll see 2 holes here and right here. We have 2 fittings that are identical. They just thread in like so. Then you can grab a 19mm wrench and go ahead and tighten those down. Same thing for the other one. So now for our air box, you'll see the big circle hole in the side where our tube and filter will go through. We have our supplied gasket. Just gonna start running that around on the edge. Just working your way around. Just like so. And we can set this aside. This is ready to go into the truck. Now we have our 2 hoses and our 2 supplied fittings. They simply just grab an end and push them on, and they will attach to our intake tube. Next, we're gonna put our air box into our truck. So you have this inlet here, that's actually gonna drop into the slot in the fender. Just tilt it down like so and rock it into place. Now you see 3 holes at the bottom. We're gonna use our factory bolts from our plate that we took out and secure that down. So we're going to have 3 of our bolts that we took out. We have 1 here and then 2 on the side with the fender. I know they may be hard to see, but you'll see them through the bottom of the box. Get those threaded in, and then grab our ratchet and 10mm socket and tighten them down. Our support bar that we swung out of the way, we can put that back in place, thread it in our bolt, and tighten that down. Now we have our intake tube ready to go in. We're gonna grab our coupler for our throttle body, and just slide that over. Grab our 2 clamps, just let them rest over our coupler for right now. Loosen that one up and get that on there better. We're gonna slide our big end into our air box and our coupler over our throttle body. Slide this over our throttle body. Next we can grab our filter. We're gonna drop that down and slide it over. We already have our clamp on there. Grab our ratchet and 8mm socket and tighten that down. Now we have our window for our air box. Slide that in place and grab our 4 Phillips head screws with our gaskets, thread them in, and we'll tighten them down. Grab the Phillips head screwdriver, tighten those down. Now we're just gonna keep working our way to our throttle body. Now we have our mass airflow sensor connector. We're gonna plug that in. Just make sure you secure down that red locking tab. And then we have our valve cover, our hose for our valve cover on our passenger side. So we're gonna clip our connector on and then get our hose connected. Now you see it is a little bit long. You can leave it long. We're actually just gonna take a pair of scissors and just work our way around and cut that a little bit shorter. And then just press that onto the fitting, like so. Now we're gonna tighten our 2 clamps for our throttle body. So we're gonna grab our ratchet, extension, 8mm socket, and tighten those 2 down. Next, we're gonna do the same thing we did for our passenger side valve cover. We're gonna connect our hose here to the driver's side one, clip that on, see what kind of length we need. We actually don't need to cut this, so we can leave that a little long. We're just gonna push this onto the fitting, like so. And that wraps up our install of our Corsa Performance closed box cold air intake with a PowerCore dry filter for our 2014 to 18 5.3 liter Silverado 1500. And remember, for everything Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.